Okay guys, so today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Usually I do Pokemon content, but today I'm going to be showcasing a Yu-Gi-Oh deck that I made. It's probably, I'd say, from around 2013 era-ish, and I modified it. My friend and I have been playing lately, pretty casually though, so it's not the most optimal deck, and there's some banned cards that we play with traditional rules, but as I go through the deck I'll explain which cards they are, even though they're pretty obvious, and we'll say what you can substitute it for. Okay. So it's kind of a combination deck, so it's not the most optimal build. It's like gadgets, Machina, or Machina. I know it's Machina, but Machina sounds cooler in my opinion, and because it's a machine deck. And it's like some ancient gears and Cyber Dragon. It's a really weird, like I combine a lot of things into one, but it works out pretty well. So let's get into it. Let's do the monsters first here. So we have 2 Green Gadgets, 2 Red Gadgets, and 2 Yellow Gadgets. It's pretty standard for the gadget lineup here, just to play the 2 of. There's a lot of 2 ofs in this deck. So green searches out red, red searches out yellow. It's just a constant loop. And then I'm using 3 ancient Gear Gadgets. These are, I guess, new ancient gear / gadget cards. I know they're not like super new, but they're new to me. And I saw them, so I put them in the deck, and they're really good because they can declare a card type, so monster, spell, or trap, and then your opponent can't activate whatever card you chose until after the damage step if you attack. So that's kind of like the whole ancient gear thing. A lot of ancient gear monsters have that effect. And then it also has a secondary effect where you can basically take the name of one of your gadgets, and it works well with Machine Duplication, which I'll explain later. And I'll go over some combos and some general hands after I'm done showcasing the deck here. Then next we got 2 Machina Gearframe. It's your standard Machina card, searches out Fortress here. I played 2 Fortress. I was finding 3 was too many, and same with Gearframe. 3 of them was too many as well, so I just have the 2 and 2 lineup here. Machina Fortress is a really powerful card, 2500 beater, and has 2 really good effects that if your opponent tries to, either if it's destroyed by battle or by a card effect, it can discard a card from their hand or destroy a card on their field. So for the Cyber Dragon support, I have 2 Jumbo Drills, and this is rank 4, or level 4, but what it can do is when it's normal summoned to the field, you can increase the level of all machine type monsters by 1. So you can change this one to either 5 by itself, and then you can use Instant Fusion to get a level 5 fusion, and then you can make a Cyber Dragon Nova into infinity, or you can have Jumbo Drill on the field and like a gadget or something, and then change it both to level 5 and do the same thing. I have 1 Genex ally Birdman for the tuner here. He's pretty good if I need to reuse effects or something in a clutch moment. You can just pick 1 card up from the field, so like if you're running low on gadgets, or you only have 1 or something, you can pick it back up and reuse the effect. Or Ancient Gear Gadget if you really need its first effect. Or Gearframe as well. Since there's only 2, you can always pick them back up and reuse this effect. And he's a 3-star tuner, so it works with pretty good with 7s consistently, and he can get the 8s as long as you have Jumbo Drill to increase his own level by 1, so you can get a level 8 synchro, or you can use Instant Fusion and get the level 5 to get the 8 that way. Then I have 2 Ancient Gear Gadjiltron Dragons. They're 3000 attack beat sticks. It's actually not too hard to summon them in this deck, even though they require 2 tributes. I play Geartown, which I'll get into that later. And you can also discard them to summon Machina Fortress. And then the last monster here is Maxx, which is a super good card. Super good limited card. You can just drop it on any turn and draw when your opponent special summons monsters. Alright, let's move on here to the spell cards. So we have 2 instant fusion. They're very good. You can target out a level 4 or a level 5 is what I use in this deck, so that'll be Norden and Panzer Dragon. Norden is banned, but you can use any rank 4, it still works pretty much the same. Although he does have a pretty good effect though. So 2 instant fusions. I have 3 double summons. Since I'm not using the gold and silver gadgets in this deck, which lets you special summon 2 monsters, like you can special summon the gold or silver gadget and then another one from your hand, I use double summon since I'm not using those, and it lets me normal summon twice a turn. And then I'm running 3 Machine Duplication, and this is the core card for the Ancient Gear Gadget. You can target a machine type monster with 500 less attack, and you can special summon from the deck. So you can either special summon 2 of these, or you can change this card's name to one of the gadgets, and then you can summon 2 of those, and then you can get the searches for those gadgets. So it's a major advantage. And if you have 2 machine duplications in your hand, you can fill the field with these and get 2 gadgets as well. So that's a full field of monsters, and you can do whatever you want with them. So machine duplication is very useful. And I have 2 Geartowns and 1 Terraforming. I had 3 Geartowns and Terraforming in the beginning, but really the only way to destroy Geartown is to rely on your opponent to destroy it somehow, or using MST or Twin Tornadoes or whatever's called. Twin Twisters, yeah. So I just have 2 Geartown and 1 Terraforming, since the Ancient Gear isn't really the biggest part of this deck. I don't really need that many of them. Although, keep in mind, you can get Ancient Gear Gadget as well by popping this card. So if you need a level 4, you can always get it if you have a Mystical Space Typhoon in your hand. Or you can just summon out Ancient Gear Gadjiltron Dragon for a lot of damage. Then I have 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. Pretty good at just popping your opponent's back row or destroying Geartown, so you can get a free 3000 attack monster. And then 1 Heavy Storm, which is banned, but you can switch that with Twin Twisters, or I like to use Double Cyclone as well, because that lets you destroy one of your cards and one of your opponent's cards. So it doesn't really matter if you destroy one of your cards, because the point is to have a Geartown on the field when you activate it. So you can destroy Geartown, get a free monster, and destroy one of your opponent's spell or traps at the same time. And then for the 1-ups here, I have a few. Limiter Removal, because it's one of the best cards in any machine deck. It doubles their attack of all monsters on your field, but they get destroyed in the end phase, but it's really like a OTK type thing. Like if you get it and you're able to pull it off, you're probably going to win. 1 Upstart Goblin for drawing, 1 Dark Hole for field clear, and Monster Reborn. Another banned card, but you can just swap that for Call of the Haunted. And speaking of Call of the Haunted, moving on to traps, 1 Call of the Haunted, or 2 if you take out Monster Reborn. It just lets you recycle all your dead monsters. If you need a quick level 4, or you need a Fortress back, or one of your big Ancient Gear Gadjiltron Dragons, you can get it back. 1 Compulsory. The card's really good, returns a monster on the field to the hand. Mirror Force, just for clearing off their field if they attack into it. And then I have 1 Solemn Judgement. You can replace it with whatever Solemn of your choice that you want. So not too many traps in the deck. And then let's go over the extra deck here. So we have Gear Gigant X. We have 2 of them. That's the only one we run 2 of. This is a very crucial card to get out in the early game. It's pretty easy to make with 2 machine type monsters, and you can detach an XYZ material and add a level 4 or lower machine type monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So basically make sure you constantly have something in your hand ready to go. And it also thins out your deck to make it more statistically likely that you'll draw another card that you need. And it has a secondary effect, but it's not used in this deck. One Castel, because Castel is a very good rank 4 card. You can just detach both of its materials and return a face-up card on the field into your opponent's deck, so that's extremely useful. One Dark Rebellion Dragon, just in case you can't get over something your opponent has on the field. I know I have Fortress and Gadjiltron Dragon, which are 2,500 and 3,000, but just in case something gets over that, you can also always go into Dark Rebellion Dragon and get over anything in the game, pretty much. One Gagaga Cowboy, if you're trying to stall a little bit, you can always put him in defense position. He has pretty high defense, 2,400, and you can detach the material once per turn to do 800 damage to their life points. So if you're stuck and just waiting for something, that's always a good option. For the rank 5s here, I just have 2. Adria's Keeper of Armageddon. It's just a fun card, 2 level 5 monsters. You can detach an XYZ material and destroy a card your opponent controls. It has to be face up though. And there's better choices for some of these cards, so you can substitute with whatever you feel. But these are the only ones I have. So, and then I have Cyber Dragon Nova. It's 2 level 5 machine type monsters. Actually, surprisingly easy to get out with the jumbo drills and instant fusions. But we're not really looking to just play him. We're looking for Cyber Dragon Infinity, which is an amazing card. You can just, if your opponent has a monster on the field, you can literally take it and attach it to this card once per turn. And you can remove one of the cards attached to him to when your opponent activates a card effect, or when a card or effect is activated, you can just discard one of the materials and completely negate it. And it gains attack too, so it's it has a base of 2,700 attack, right when it hits the field, because it'll have 3 materials. And you can just use Cyber Dragon Nova for the material for Cyber Dragon Infinity. And then I have a few synchros here. I have Genex Allied Triforce. He's in the deck because Birdman's a Genex tuner, so you can make him. And since pretty much every single card in this deck is the Earth archetype, or the Earth type, so he gets the first effect, which is basically the same as the Ancient Gear effects, where if it attacks, your opponent can't activate spell traps or monster effects until after the damage step. Then I have one Black Rose Dragon for field clear. And for one level 8 here, I have Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. Let's move it over here. Alright. Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, he's pretty good. 3,000 attack. You can throw him on the field and then destroy all special summon monsters, which is really prevalent nowadays. And your opponent takes damage for every special summon monster destroyed. And you can do that every single turn too. It's not just limited to when he's summoned. And then for a few fusions here, we have Norden. He's banned, but you can just use any rank 4 or level 4. It doesn't really matter. Although he does have a good effect, but if you get instant fusion early on, chances are you're not really using his secondary effect anyway, so you can get away with using something else. Then Panzer Dragon. It's just a level 5 machine type monster. Really good with instant fusion and jumbo drill, so you can get out Cyber Dragon Infinity. And he has an okay effect too. If you're really in a desperate situation, you can always instant fusion him out, and then he'll die at the end of the turn and then destroy something your opponent controls. And then I have one Ancient Gear Howitzer in here. That's pretty much the only way you're ever going to get that out, is if Cyber Dragon Nova gets destroyed, because his effect, if he's destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon a machine type fusion monster from your extra deck. So say your opponent doesn't know you have this and he wants to stop your Nova before you can get out Infinity, he'll destroy that with a card effect, and then you're like, oh, I have this, and you can just summon this in defense, and then you can use his effect to have your opponent take 1,000 damage once per turn. So it's just a nice little thing. And I think he also has another effect. Yeah, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your deck, ignoring summoning conditions if he's destroyed by battle. So it's a pretty useful little tech card here. Okay, let's see. We can go over some standard combos, I guess. This is going to be a long video. Anyways, we have Ancient Gear Gadget here. Combos with Machine Duplication, which is really good. So you can get him all on the field here. Generally, you want to declare when you have one on the field, and then you play Machine Duplication. You want to declare Green Gadget usually. So you can special summon 2 Green Gadgets, and then you can search out your 2 Red Gadgets from your deck. And then these are added to your hand. So then you have 2 more cards ready for the next turn. Let's see. Whenever you make one of the Gear Gigants, your first priority, if you have a Machine Duplication in your hand, should probably be to use his effect to search for an Ancient Gear Gadget from your deck, so that way the next turn you have this ready to go and set up. And it can also, if you have a lot of rank 4s in your hand and you happen to have a Gadjiltron dragon in there too, and some rank 4s, so you have like 2 gadgets, you can always just search for Gearframe, so that way you can drop it next turn, which searches for Fortress. Then you can discard a gadget and Fortress itself to summon Fortress to the field. And since you have a lot of rank 4s in your hand and Gadjiltron dragon, you can just keeping him on the field over and over again, even if he's destroyed by your opponent. Let's see, with Instant Fusion, there's a lot of different ways you can use Instant Fusion too. It depends on what you have in your hand. So if you have Instant Fusion and you have this on the field, you can always discard a card from him to search for the Jumbo Drill. That way, next turn you'll have a free Cyber Dragon, basically. So you can use Instant Fusion and summon Jumbo Drill and get Cyber Dragon out that way. That's pretty much the deck here. You just have to be careful with what you search for, or what you need when you need it. Oh, I guess I should go over. This is pretty simple, but Geartown. Geartown has an amazing effect that you can tribute summon ancient gear monsters with 1 less tribute. So, I mean, it's actually not that unlikely in this deck that you'll have like a gadget left over or some rank 4 left over on the field, and then you can just tribute summon Gadjiltron dragon. Normally it requires 2, but with this spell card he only requires 1, and you can actually get him on the field that way. Or you can just Mystical Space Typhoon, Geartown, and then that just gets him for free from your deck. Or graveyard or hand, doesn't matter, you can get him from anywhere, which is kind of OP. And you can also search out Ancient Gear Gadget as well, because he's an Ancient Gear. So keep that in mind. If instead you don't want this and you want to make an XYZ or something, you can always do that too. Okay, I think that is pretty much it. Just standard double summon combos. As long as you have 1 gadget in your hand, you're good to go with an XYZ. You just summon Green Gadget, he searches out red, double summon, put red down, and then searches out another one in your hand, so basically a lot of opportunity. Alright, that is it. I hope you enjoyed the deck. If you have any suggestions, I could take those into consideration. I know it's not the most optimal build, considering this is just a casual, fun little deck that I wanted to combine a lot of things in, because this is one of my favorite decks that I had back in the day, so... Alright, thanks for watching.